Transportation is a very important part of our lives, but nowadays, at least for you, I don't think you use it very much, do you? I rarely go out from my house, and when I do, I go on taxi. I don't take buses, and I don't drive. But for the sake of that unit, let's try to remember when transportation was actually a big part of our lives, alright? Let's start. So, look at this lady. Why do you think she is there? Where is she actually? You know, she's actually taking the train in Dhaka, Bangladesh. And she is in some part of the train. I don't think she is in the train, but she is somewhere on the train. Alright? And this is a train in Dhaka, Bangladesh. In case you don't know, this is Dhaka, Bangladesh, which is a country between India and Myanmar. I'm sure I mispronounced that. And what you're going to do is you're going to listen and you're going to find out why she isn't in the train but outside of it. Alright? Now, to be honest, to look at pictures like this is not something very uncommon in India. In Bangladesh. Look, this is a train. And this is not like a particularly special day. This is a normal day. So this is what happened in trains in India, alright? When people go in trains. So I don't know about you guys, but I don't take trains that much. I have taken trains, but at least not in a long, long time. What about you? Have you taken a train before? Have you taken the electric train here? It's no use for me, so I have never been in that side, so I've never taken it. But here, you have several pictures of means of transport. Do you recognize them? Well, in exercise 3, you have a list of means of transport, and then you have some questions. Well, not questions, but sentences that you have to relate with the means of transport in the list. So what you're going to do for a Google Meet session, and you are going to tell me which one you prefer to do these activities with. For example, visit relatives. I prefer to visit relatives by bicycle or foot because they only live 5 minutes from my house. So you're gonna make situations for each of these activities, which means of transport you prefer, alright? And then, plus, as a plus is not here, you're going to tell me of this one, which one is your favorite and which one you don't like and why. If the one you don't like or the one is your favorite is not here, tell me, so I will learn something new together, alright? Okay. Means of transport have developed in the last years by a lot. Because traffic is a big problem, not just in Peru, but all over the world. Why? Because population in the world is increasing more and more. Here you can see in the picture some new means of transport that are being developed or that they actually exist nowadays. I'm sorry, this one is not supposed to be here, but anyway. Do you know about any of them? Can you tell by just looking at the pictures? If not, here we have a text where they're going to talk about the 3 of them, and I'm sorry because this picture is covering the other one, but you can look at it in your book. Alright? So, what you're going to do is that you're going to read the text and you're going to find out about them. Now, here there are some words that you may have some problems recognizing them. But these words actually happen to be the exercise that you have to do on the following exercise. So I cannot just tell you what is what. But what I'm going to tell you is I'm going to show you some pictures that are related to the words that are in bold. Not to all of them, not to this one, but to this one, this one, this one, and this one. And not this one because this one is easy. So these words are kind of related to the words that are in bold letters. I'm showing you this as an extra to help you out with the words in case you find them difficult in the text. If not, then it's fine. What I'm going to tell you though is an interesting fact that I learned about San Francisco and Los Angeles. Do you know that San Francisco is the 4th most traffic jammed city in the whole world? And do you know which one is number 1? No, it's not Lima. It's Los Angeles. These are both of them are quite traffic jam cities around the world. Alright? Both of them are in California, so can you imagine? California has to be a quite populated state. Alright? So now that you have this picture to help you out, you can read your text and hopefully understand it. And if so, you can do exercise 1, 2, 3 from your book. That is going to be on your feedback session as usual. Alright? All the words that you have to hear in exercise 3 are called compound nouns. Compound nouns are two words that have meaning on their own, and when you put them together, they create new words. Now, sometimes the compound nouns are related to the words that create them. For example, you have here a bus, and then you add a stop, and as a result, you have a bus stop. So, these are kind of related, right? Because a bus stop is where buses stop. That's very obvious. But sometimes some compound noun has nothing to do with the result. For example, look. This is a bull. This is a dose of medicine. As a result, you have a bulldozer. See, are these two related to this? No, right? So compound nouns are not always things that are related, but sometimes they are. But since we're talking about transportation, I have left you a link in your virtual classroom where you will learn about some compound nouns related to transportation. So go check it out. It's a good practice and it's quite small, so it won't take you more than 20 seconds, I promise. Now that you know about this type of transport and you have learned about the compound nouns, we are going to answer this question in our Google Meet session. And please always remember to justify answers, alright? Don't just tell me this, and this. Tell me why, alright? Now that you have now here you have a listening where you are going to listen to two colleagues talking at work. And you're gonna do exercise 5 and 6 like usual for your feedback session. Now, I'm not going to tell you the answers from this exercise, but I am going to tell you that they're talking about a bike and a car and what's the best way to commute to work. Commute means the journey that you take every day to do routine things. In this case, go to work. For example, when you used to go to school, you had a commute to school every day. And what you're going to listen is how they compare the bike to the car in order to know what is the best way to get to the work in this specific situation. Again, these exercises are going to be on your feedback session. Alright? And this is what we're going to work on today. This is a review. We're going to compare things. This is the long part of the video, so honestly, if you remember everything about comparative and you have no problems about comparative, feel free to skip this video, this part of the video, I won't mind. But I'm going to explain for the people that have some problems remembering comparative. To make comparative sentence, obviously you need two things to compare, at least two. So here we have 1, the car, and 2, the bicycle. You have the car and the bicycle, sorry. Now, when we compare, we use adjective. Alright? So let's start. Let's go by 1-1. Here we have the first example. A bicycle is smaller than a car. So what is the rule? When it's one syllable, small, we add ER and then always than. So for one syllable, it's ER. Always. And always than. That is a comparative fact when we have that two nouns on opposite sides, alright? For example, here, a car is larger than a bicycle, which what happens here? It finishes with an E. If we finish with an E, we don't add ER, we only add R. A car is bigger than a bicycle. One syllable, we add ER, but then we add an extra G. Why? Because when it's one syllable, big, and it's consonant, vowel, consonant, we double the consonant and then we add the ER. A bicycle weighs 8 kilograms. A car weighs 1,500 kilograms, so it's heavier. What is the rule about heavier? Heavier, the adjective obviously heavy, which is when we have two syllables, heavy, heavy, but it finishes with a Y, we remove the Y and we replace it with IER. Between a bicycle and a car, the last one is more expensive. Expensive is a long adjective. It has two syllables or more. When it's two syllables or more, what do we use? We add more. Alright? Remember, when it comes to two syllables, we have different rules. If it finishes with a Y, we remove the Y and we add IER. If it's two or more and it's not a Y, we only add more. Alright? Beautifuler doesn't exist. Please don't say beautifuler. That's awful. And finally, however, bicycles are better to keep our world green. Here we have better, which is the comparative of good, because we have some exceptions. And the most popular and common exceptions in English is better, worse, further, more, or less. These are the comparative of good, bad, far, many, and little. Those are the comparative sides of it. So this is comparative. In case you already knew, then good for you. If you didn't know, this is a reminder. I hope you listen to it, and if not, it's okay because I know you already know this topic. And as we have comparative, we also have superlative, which again, if you know superlative 100% with no problems and you are perfect in superlative, feel free to skip the next 2 minutes because we're going to explain superlative. But if you have any problems, you can continue watching it. Superlative means the number one of something. And I mean of something because sometimes people think it's only the number one thing in the world. And that's not the case. For example, let's see this example. Do you recognize these mountains? Well, you probably don't. But the three of them are the highest. So the three of them are the number one of something. They are not the same mountain. There are three different types of mountains. So, how could it be? The highest is only one, but like I said, is the one of something. Alright? For example, the first one, it says, is this one. It's Mount Everest. Mount Everest is the highest mountain in the world. In this case, Mount Everest is the number one of the world. But look at here. Here we have Aconcagua is the highest mountain in the American continent. The number one of the American continent. And this one, do you recognize this one? This is the one of us. Huascarán is the highest mountain of Peru. The number one of Peru. The three of them are superlative, the same superlative. The highest mountain, the highest mountain, the highest mountain. But of different groups. Of the world, of America, of Peru. Alright? This is how we work in superlative, alright? Now, superlative and comparative have a lot of things in common. So if you know comparative, you probably know superlative by heart. Superlatives are quite easy to make. They are the east of something, where the blank space in an adjective, like comparatives, remember? So let's see these examples, which by the way are all true for me. So it's always good to learn extra things all the time, right? San Marcos University is the oldest university in America. The one syllable EST, the oldest. Russia is the biggest country in the world. Three Gorge Dam is one of the heaviest objects in the world. When when you see things like this, you say, this is not an object, it's a construction. But it is an object, it's a dam. You know what is a dam? Dam is this construction that avoids the water going from this side to this side. It changes the level of the water so it doesn't flood this part of the world. And then here, my laptop is the most expensive thing I own. And now it's my most valuable because I need to use it every day for classes. Alright. So these are superlative, alright? Remember, the idea with superlative is that you always have the, always, the oldest, the biggest, the heaviest, the most expensive. One syllable, EST. One syllable, consonant, vowel, consonant, we double it, est. Two syllables, but it's a y, we eliminate the y, ist. And then, long adjective, we add the most. Alright? Excellent. So practice and pay attention to the differences. Alright, let's continue. Here we go. Remember that in comparative we had some exceptions? Well, in superlative we do too. Let's check these examples, alright? In my opinion, coffee is the best drink in the world, which is actually quite true. In my opinion, Spice World is the worst movie I've ever seen. I will never get back those 2 hours of my life. And then, a fact, the farthest place I've traveled is Budapest. Now, in this case, we have the best, the superlative of good, the worst, the superlative of bad, and the farthest, the superlative of far. Now remember that when we do comparative and superlatives, when we talk about sentences, the difference from these two is these two are opinions, and this is not an opinion, this is a fact. The farthest place I've traveled is Budapest. Remember, there's a difference between opinion and fact, alright? When we have opinion, we usually say, in my opinion, I think, I believe, blah, 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 alright? Now, one thing that I want to clear up is sometimes the only problem that a lot of you have is the difference between fun and funny, alright? And it's a problem that you have for comparative, it's a problem that you have for superlative, and it's a problem that you have in general, alright? Look at examples. Brooklyn Nine-Nine is one of the funniest shows I've seen. My trip to Mexico was the most fun I ever had. Funny means that it makes you laugh. And fun is that you had a good time. Maybe you didn't laugh, but you smiled and you had a good time. You went to a party, the most fun I ever had. You saw a comedy show, it was so funny. There's a difference between funny and fun. Now, look, fun is one syllable, so officially speaking should be the funnest. But the funnest sounds horrible, so we don't use it. We say the most fun, alright? The superlative, and the same is for comparative. We don't say the funner. We say the more fun. More fun. All right. Fun is an adjective that has its own exceptions. We don't say the funnest. We don't say funner than. We say the most fun and more fun than. All right. But this point was for you to understand the difference between funny and fun. Alright? Alright. We're almost done, I promise. This was quite long. Now that comparative and superlative have been reviewed and you know them perfectly and you are never going to make a single mistake, now you can do actually exercise 9 from your book. But if you actually want to listen and you want to read to explanation about superlative and comparative, if my explanation was not clear enough, I hope it was, but if it wasn't and you have some doubts, in page 160 from your book, you have an actual explanation of grammar. But in page 161, this you have to do for your feedback session. Alright? And finally, for our Google Meet session, what we're going to do is that we are going to create some sentences with means of transport in with the list of adjectives that you have on the right side. Now, these ones are the common ones. So what I would like you to do is that you tell me about other means of transport. We have so many weird means of transport. We have cable cars, we have jetpacks. I know jetpacks are not like massive means of transport, but it's actually a means of transport. And then you tell me some comparative and superlative sentences, but just a small sentences like the one are here. One in comparative, one in superlative, so prepare 5 or 6 sentences, alright? And then, this is actually the important speaking part. We're actually going to start with this one, because if I run out of time, I'd rather have this one done than all the other Google Meet. We're going to start with this activity. Using comparative and superlative, you're going to explain your life before and during the pandemic. What has changed? So explain using comparative and superlative. And this is a 1-minute presentation I will time you. And you can, and I know you like talking, but please don't exceed 1 minute 30. Otherwise, I won't be able to finish. You're a lot. You're 18. Alright? And then, please, as usual, don't forget to do your workbook, page 20 and 21 for our feedback session. And that's it. Bye-bye.